Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video. I have in front of me the brand new, most recent launch from Morphe. This is the 39S Such a Gem palette. Initially, I was not going to review this, but actually a ton of you tagged me on Instagram asking me to review this palette. I also did a poll today earlier on YouTube in the community tab asking you guys if you wanted to see a review on this, and the results were unanimous. So right after work, I ran over to Morphe and I picked this pretty palette up. I am obsessed recently with the pinks and purples. I'm really interested to see how this palette performs because purple shades are some of the hardest to formulate, some of the hardest to get right. And with this palette being all purple, you know, we're gonna see. We're gonna put it to the test. This is going to be a true first impressions. I obviously have not played with this at all. I did do some swatches for you guys, so I'll share that with you as well. This palette retails for $35. Obviously, you can get it on the Morphe website and in Morphe stores. I'm not aware if this is available in any other outlets quite yet. Like I said, it literally launched today. Just quickly, something that makes this palette unique is that there are some brand new finishes included in this palette. Mainly what made me so excited was this middle row here of these larger pans. These are supposed to be gel-like shimmer toppers, so they can be used as highlights on the face or just something that you can top on top of another shadow, again, to kind of jazz it up and bring some dimension. There's also a pressed glitter in this palette, and then you've got your typical metallics, foils, and mattes. So there's a lot of different finishes in here, and to be honest, looking at it, I do think that the color story is laid out quite nice, but I'm overwhelmed. There are 39 shades in this palette and they all look absolutely stunning. So we are going to go ahead and jump right into some swatches. We will create a look together and then obviously I will give you my final thoughts. So with that being said, let's not chit chat anymore. Let's just get right into it and let's start with some swatches. All right, so these are the first two rows swatched right here, and I have to be honest, I am super impressed. The mattes so far are just swatching so buttery smooth and even and pigmented, and even these metallics. This is a huge step up so far from the 39A, was it? The Bronze Goals palette, I believe that's what it was. I also reviewed that on my channel. These colors are so beautiful. I'm having a hard time deciding what I'm actually going to do. So first two rows are a win so far. All right, now these are the next two rows swatched. These right here come from that large middle section. These are supposed to be gel-like toppers, so they're supposed to have like a gel texture, and then once you put them on, they dry down to like a powder. Oh my goodness, are they absolutely beautiful. They are super dimensional, super glittery, and just swiped on with ease. They feel so buttery smooth. And then the second to last row, which is from here on, again, extremely impressed, you guys. Look at these mattes, look at these shimmers. I don't know what they did, but they really stepped their game up. This is absolutely gorgeous. Let's go ahead and move on to the last row. All right, you guys, so this is the last row in the palette. Can we talk about this pressed glitter shade right here? That is one swipe. It is so dense and so beautiful and just swiped with ease. Sometimes with those pressed glitters in a pan, you kind of have to like dab your finger to get the even pigmentation, or I should say the even spread of glitter, but I didn't even have to do that with this. These last two mattes right here are probably, in my opinion, the most lackluster in the entire palette. They're not terrible. They do have some micro reflex of glitter in them, but usually with that, unless you use your brush wet or use some sort of a very sticky primer, you're gonna lose most of that glitter anyways, but still pretty. Just probably my two least favorite out of the entire palette. Overall though, I am obviously very impressed with the way that this palette has swatched. All right, so now I have you guys zoomed in here. I did prime my lids with the Jeffree Star Concealer in the shade C6. I did not set it down with any powder. Jeffree says that you are supposed to just leave it as is. Please excuse my brows. I feel like they look like total crap, I had a fight with them when I was putting my makeup on. So there's that. I literally have no clue where I even want to begin. All of the shades for this palette are listed on this little plastic thing, and you guys know I am just not a huge fan. I'm going to try my best to share the names with you of what I'm using on my eyes. I'm going to start off with the Sigma. This is a diffused crease brush. This is the E38. We're just going to start with a very neutral transition shade, base shade. This one right here. I believe that is the shade name Super Swanky. A little bit of fallout, but nothing too intense. Now, if you guys watched my review of the Bronze Goals, I believe it was the 39A palette. That palette was a major disappointment to me. The metallics were so hardly pressed that I could barely get any color payoff, and you had to scrape the top. Now, like I said in the swatches, this did swatch quite different. I didn't feel that way. It all depends on how it translates onto the lid. I'm just fluffing that out and just making sure everything is blended really well into the crease, not dipping my brush back in, and just kind of bringing that all over the lid. I'm going to take this brush here. This is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush. This is the JH40, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into the shade Bougie, this bright pink right here. When I did do the swatches, I didn't see anything staining my arms, at least with the micellar water that I used to remove them. I don't know if the same goes for the lids, but we'll see. Now I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna keep this very tight, but just start to put that into the crease. I just feel like one eye always behaves better than the other. Comment down below if you feel that way as well. It's like one eye just blends more seamlessly than the other. So far first impressions of this shade, extremely pigmented, blending out beautifully. Super impressed. I can say though, honestly, I've never really had an issue with Morphe's matte shades. It's the shimmers that we're gonna have to put to the test. All right, so I think that that looks gorgeous and amazing so far. Let's go ahead and deepen up the outer corners. Let's see, I think I'm gonna take this deeper purple shade right here. God, this palette is huge. This is the shade Plums Up. I'm just gonna use that same brush. I'm just gonna start by putting that on the outer edge. Just kind of dabbing that on and working my way inward. And then eventually I'm gonna go ahead and kind of work that a little bit more on the outer edge and just kind of fluff that up and blend it into that pink shade. Wow, this is blending really easily and evenly pigmented as well. That is looking so beautiful and bright and fun so far. All right, so now I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip into this shade here in the second row. This is the shade Marvelous. Use my finger for this one, and I'm just gonna dab it right here in the center of the lid, right where that darker shade ended. This is one of my favorite things to do when blending in metallic shades, because what I'm gonna do then after I lay this down, so I'm gonna use an even brighter shade right here and blend it into that metallic. I just feel like it gives it so much dimension. So far, the color payoff with this metallic using my finger is absolutely gorgeous. I do have to say the Jeffree Star Concealer helps, because it is by far probably the best eyeshadow primer and concealer there is. It's been all that I've been using, and it does make my eye looks just pop and look fantastic. So now I need to figure out what bright shade I want to use here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and lay down something bright, but then use one of those glitter toppers as well, just to make it pop even more so. So I think I'm gonna use this shade right here in the upper corner, Make and Bank. Just gonna go in with my finger. That looks very stained from swatching, but it won't affect it. This is such a beautiful shade. I'm just gonna go ahead and dab that in the inner part of the eye the best I can, considering my nails. I'm gonna take a break from that. Let's kind of work on this lower lash line. I'm gonna start off again with that bright pink shade that we laid into the crease. I believe, what is that? Bougie. Love the name. I'm gonna go back in with that Jaclyn Hill JH40. I'm really gonna smoke this out on the lower lash line. I'm not too afraid to kind of get it everywhere. I want this to be a very dramatic look. All right, now I'm gonna take this flat definer brush. This is the JH43, and I'm gonna dip back into Plums Up. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of press that along the lash line. Go back in with that JH, what is this? The JH40. Just gonna go ahead and blend it back out. just so there's no harsh lines. Do the same up here. All right, so now that we have the lower lash line completed, let's go ahead and just add even more dimension to that brighter shade that I have. I'm gonna dip into one of the new toppers, Take the Crown. That is this bright silvery shade right here. I'm just gonna tap that right there. So gorgeous. Let's go ahead and get something in the inner corner. Ooh, what do I want to put there? I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip into this really bright pink shade right here. Let's see, that one is the shade Oh Yes. So I'm gonna take the Jaclyn Hill, this is the JH39. I'm gonna dip right into that pink. I don't know how well this is gonna work with a brush, but we're gonna try it out. Oh yes. Now the cool thing is I haven't really seen any fallout yet. That is so pretty. These new gel hybrid toppers, whatever they are really, really stunning. All right, and along the brow bone, I think I'm gonna dip into, I always say I think, I know, I'm gonna dip into this kind of champagne-y shade right here. What is that? That's the fourth one from the end, Perfection. I dip in with the E47 from Sigma. Just gonna put that along the brow bone. Gorgeous. All right, I am actually just gonna go ahead and pop on some mascara. I'm not a huge one for falsies, and I will be right back, you guys, with the final look and my final thoughts. All right, you guys, so here is the completed look. I am beyond impressed. I think it is very obvious, giving you my feedback with the swatches and kind of talking you through the tutorial. This palette is a stunner. Hands down the best Morphe palette that I have tried since the original Jaclyn Hill palette. Hands down, this is better than the James Charles palette. This is way, way better than the Bronze Goals palette. I wish that they would somehow pull all those Bronze Goals palettes and put them in this type of design right here. This row of these gel toppers, absolutely gorgeous. I actually took this shade right here, Catch the Light, and I used this as a highlight. Bitch. That is absolutely gorgeous as a highlight. Look at that. This palette brought out a side of me that made me feel truly artistic. It is not every day that I create bright looks like this on my channel. I am living for this look. It is so beautiful. It was so easy to do, easy to blend. The colors are so pigmented. I can't get over it. I'm actually very shocked at how well this palette performed, and I do have to say I was a little bit biased. I was prejudging a bit considering the Bronze Goals palette because some of that was just not good at all. So yeah, you guys, I think that this palette is a win. Definitely check it out. 35 bucks for these shades, my goodness, totally worth it. If you were into purples, yes, this palette is gorgeous. It's a win, it's a steal. I can't really say much more about it. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but I am truly in love. I can't wait to play with it more and create more neutral looks with it. So fantastic. I have to give it to Morphe on this one. They hit the nail on the head. If this palette doesn't sell out with more reviews that roll out with how good it is, I would be very shocked because it is that good. It's totally worth it. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you were thinking of picking up this palette. Did you order it? And now after seeing this review, are you even more excited? I cannot wait to keep playing with it because I hate this word, but I'm shook. Your girl is shook. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It is so good. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, like it, and of course, share it, subscribe, do all that good stuff, support me. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys. I have in front of me the brand new 39S palette from Morphe. This is the, wow, I don't even know what this palette's called. Don't even remember what it's called. Where's the box? It's sitting right in front of me. You'd think I could manage something so simple. Let's try that again. Head and dip into this really bright pink shade right here. Let's see, that one is the shade, what is it? Oh, so I'm gonna take this pencil brush. This is a Luxie mini round. Nope, that's not the brush I want.